Today's video is something really special, because I am once again talking about the best map in all of Pavlov. And the reason I'm making a second video is because, wow, it has gotten so much better. Let me tell you, the map developer has put in some serious hours into the last video, adding new arenas as well as fixing pretty much every one of my complaints. Anyways, for fear of boring you all at the beginning of this video, I'll talk more about that stuff later on. But without further ado, I give you Kill Show, new and improved. So if you watched my first video, you would know what makes Kill Show so special. And if you haven't, I recommend you click the video in the top right hand corner. However, that's optional, because I'm going to give a short explanation of Kill Show right now. Kill Show is a unique map because it is in fact not just one map, but over 30. Confused? Allow me to explain. When you first spawn, you spawn in these red glass tubes. You're in an arena, the crowd is cheering, chanting for blood. Waving signs, it is chaos. Then a countdown starts, and the tiles of the arena drop away, and the map ascends from the ground. Once the countdown hits 0, all the tubes open up, and you start fighting other players. You fight for 140 seconds, or 2 1/3 minutes. And then, another countdown starts. Arrow lights are projected onto the wall of the arena, and you must follow these arrows to reach one of these platforms. If you're fast enough and make it in time, glass barriers will surround you, and you will be safe. However, if you did not make haste, you will be doomed to fall to your death with the rest of the map. After that, a new arena will replace it. The glass barriers will disappear, and the tubes containing those who died on their way to the platforms open. Everyone starts fighting again, and the process repeats itself, over and over, until the game ends. This ensures the battlefield is always changing, and you are constantly forced to adapt. Now, I was absolutely blown away with it when I first played this map back in March, and I was already willing to say that Kill Show was not only the best map in all of Pavlov, but most likely in all of VR. But Zaros, the map's developer, is an absolute giga-chad, and he was not satisfied. So this man has been working tirelessly to make it better in every way. He increased the arena count from 7 to over 30, gave a bunch of the arenas crazy twists, and fixed all the bugs and bad features. Again, I cannot express how awesome this map is. So I really wanted to talk about the unique functions of certain arenas, and just of the map as a whole. But I am sorry. Before that, I just want to remind you to subscribe and generally interact with the video. Interaction is what tells the YouTube algorithm that my video was good, and frankly, I would really love as many people to see this video as possible, because I want Kill Show to get the attention and players it deserves. The best way to interact with my video is to start or engage in a conversation with other viewers. So I don't know, talk about your favorite arena, or feature of the map, or even the social economic state of the world. Alright, so before we get into the specific arenas, I want to talk about some insane details that exist across all of the arenas. Now, I already talked about the tubes and the tiles, but those are far from the only cool features worth mentioning. If you look outside of the arena you are fighting in, you will see an excited crowd that moves, cheers, and waves signs, excited for more blood. The crowd will be particularly loud when there's an incoming arena change, adding to the sense of urgency. There are cameras on rails that follow players from above the map and show the live feed on huge screens around the outside of the map. This is an insanely cool detail, but it also can be used very tactically, as you can use them to see over walls, and since they follow either enemies or yourself, the cameras are also a great way for locating your next target. Finally, the ceiling of the arena has a bunch of screens that display images trying to simulate sky. The sky images change depending on the arena, and will sometimes do cool and unique things. For instance, on trench warfare, during a bombing run, you will see bomber planes flying over. Alright, now I want to give a quick description of all the existing arenas, because they're all just extremely interesting and diverse, and often come with special twists. Park is a small map with hedges that serve to create a maze with a big cherry tree in the center. The hedges are fully penetratable, so even if you can only hear your enemy, you can still get a kill. Sweet Tooth is an arena made fully of candy and other sweet goods. It is a semi-open arena and has a rotating plate in its center. Slums is a city slums area, filled with corrugated metal houses and a bridge in the center. It is very similar to the popular Pavlov map, Stacks. Child's Play 1 is the first of the Child Play arenas. The overall map is made of children's blocks and grass patches. Be sure to watch out though, because some of the block bridges serve as pitfall traps, and will have you falling to your death if you're not careful. House of Cards is exactly what it sounds like, a map fully composed of playing cards. The arena includes 2 card castles, which serve as excellent high ground. Jungle is a dense green vertical map full of foliage, and because of this, it can be hard to see enemies sometimes. It's open in some parts and pretty close quarters in others. It's a very nice mix. Warzone is a devastated Middle Eastern town with barrels and flaming cars scattered about. It was a fairly ordinary arena until a few days ago, when Zaros added periodic drone strikes to the map. It adds some wonderful chaos while you're trying not to die. Those are the original 7 arenas, and admittedly, they are the least interesting. But I have good news, because now it's time for the new ones. Dojo is very Asian aesthetically, with dojo-like architecture, statues, lanterns, and bamboo trees. It's definitely very atmospheric. Arcade is awesome. It's a maze of arcade games and glass walls. Arcade sounds are playing, and you can interact with large basketballs around the map. Child's Play 2 has the same general style of architecture as Child's Play 1, but instead of pitfalls, there are lifts that you can take to achieve the high ground, a surefire way to defeat Anakin Skywalker. Warzone 2 is another Warzone-like environment, with destroyed stone walls and such. However, unlike Warzone 1, which was more Middle Eastern, Warzone 2 is definitely more Greece-inspired. Forest is a coniferous forest environment, including most of what you would expect to see in Western Canada. The only major difference being that the mushrooms are far bigger. There is also a large rock in the center, which happens to be climbable, so keep that in mind. Ruined is an arena of ancient degrading walls and arches. In this arena, it's always raining, which serves to lessen visibility somewhat, as well as help create atmosphere. Crystal Cave is a map of massive crystals. Now, if I'm being honest, I can find this one a little overwhelming. But a really cool feature of this map is that the crystals are constantly changing colors. Just like that $4,000 RGB gaming PC you're watching this on right now. Floor is Lava is a volcanic map, with platforms slowly sinking into the lava and coming back up. Needless to say, the lava is fatal. Sweet Tooth 2 is much like the original, but far more vertical and with more spinning plates around the map. Child's Play 3 is a third arena in the Child's Play series. In Child's Play 3, you will find rotating obstacles as well as a lift in the center of the map that leads to a lower portion. And of course, it still has the same architecture style as the other 2. Mario
It's me, a Mario.
is an arena that looks like it's straight out of the classic Nintendo game, with the usual blocks and pipes and whatnot. But what's really cool about this arena is that you can use the pipes to go down to a classic underground Mario level. Such a cool detail. Graveyard is definitely the most foggy of all the arenas, which can often make it hard to see long distances. Other than that, the arena is based on a graveyard. Zaros has also told me that he is currently working on implementing zombies to this arena, so stay tuned for that. Trench warfare is truly something else. It's an arena obviously set in the trenches, but what's really cool about it is that there is artillery fire and bombing runs constantly raining down. This is incredibly atmospheric, but the artillery can also kill you, so it keeps you on your toes. Western Mines is a cool Wild West mine set in a really beautiful canyon. There's nothing overly unique about it, but I think it's pretty cool. Oasis is a damp, tranquil ruin environment. There are bamboo trees scattered about, and the ground is mostly covered in water. Water that you can walk through, and even use to hide. Beanstalk is a variant of the Child's Play series, with a heavy emphasis on plants and vines. You can ride these plants to reach other parts of the map. Cloud City is a map with similar architecture to the old Mario levels within the clouds. You can ride the clouds around, and the map is also quite foggy. Mushroom Forest is a forest made of huge mushrooms. Fireflies fly around, and it's just a pretty arena. Disco Time is an absolute banger of an arena, and definitely one of my personal favorites. The map is separated into these squares, then boom, they all come to life and they start shifting. Sometimes they'll make different arena formations, and sometimes they just do the wave. Either way, definitely an absolute hoot of a map. Pitfall, or Minesweeper as Zaros calls it, is a lot like Disco Time. The same grid of squares appear, but this time, instead of a disco party, red X's will appear on some of the blocks, and moments later, they will drop away. There used to be a bug where blocks beneath spawn tubes would drop away, as well as a bug that killed you when the tiles ascended instead of descended, much like the hit show Made in Abyss. But those have all been fixed. Magic Cards is much like House of Cards, except this time the cards are glowing. This isn't the only difference, however, as some of the cards also move. Electrocution is a map with a very industrial and modular design. There are spinning spikes going back and forth, and Tesla coils that will periodically activate, killing all within range. Child's Play 4 is the most recent addition to the Child's Play series. It focuses mainly on bridges, pitfalls, and rotating spikes that will kill you. Finally, we have Pandemonium, a bit of a play on words there, because the arena is definitely the definition of pandemonium, but also because there is a massive panda in the center. Anyways, this arena is like a game show of death type deal. There are spinning spikes going around, and a panda that is breathing fire. If you get hit by either the spikes or the fire, you're dead. Rip Bozo. Those are all the arenas that are currently out, but I assure you he is still grinding to give us more. Even with all these arenas, he's still working hard to keep the map under 2 GB, which is actually quite the feat. Alright, I usually hate this part of the video, but it's time to talk about the issues of Killshow. Luckily though, he is perhaps the most receptive to feedback I've ever seen a developer be, and hence, all the issues have been resolved, and I just want to talk about what they were and how he resolved them. So originally, spawn camping was a huge issue. Usually combat would only really take part on these parts of the map, with people rarely having incentives to actually go to the center. This was resolved by adding side and center tubes, and it was a very effective fix. The only problem was that sometimes you dropped a bit high, causing little fall damage, but he's already addressed that with platforms to break your fall. There was a time when the leaves in jungle were not pennable. With so many leaves, this was very annoying. However, this was resolved fairly quickly. Leaves can now be penetrated, which is a really nice change. A select few people reported that they would get nauseous from the reflection of this red light on the glass of the spawn tubes. To counter this, the reflections were reduced, although dimming the red light might yield a better result. Now finally, the complaint I've heard most often, that you can't play Search and Destroy or the Hidden, what you new players know as a hive. Thing is, after a bunch of work on Zaros' part, he managed to find a way to enable them both, even if it is in an unideal way. Problem is, Pavlov does not allow for planting sites to move, and with Killshow being what it is, without that, Search and Destroy will never work amazingly. Currently, he ended up putting some plant sites on the sides of the map as a fix. Then there's the issue of S&D player spawns. When setting S&D spawns, you only set one per team, and then all the other players just spawn in a line beside them. This wouldn't work for Killshow because of the level design, what with players spawning in tubes and all. What Zaros did to counter this was he added a unique spawn platform for a team when the mode is set to S&D. These things aren't Zaros' fault, and are more to do with how the Pavlov developers made the game. Maybe one day S&D plant sites will be movable, and player spawns can be set individually. But until then, at least Killshow works with S&D, even if unideally. Another cool thing that was done for S&D was that he adjusted the arena switches. Instead of being on a timer, the arena now changes every round. This applies to the hidden as well. Hidden also works now, and it is very fun. That said, it isn't the best map for hidden, seeing as it isn't a nighttime map. However, that's okay, because Zaros has just created a new map, Kill Show Dark, and I have to say, it's quite good. The darkness levels are perfect for hidden. It's actually the funnest hidden map I've ever played. Now a tip I have for anyone playing this. If you're the hidden, use the camera rails to get around. It works great. And if you're hunting the hidden, look at the screens around the map. While they won't show you exactly where the hidden is, sometimes they'll give you a general idea. I'll have Kill Show Dark linked right next to Kill Show in the video description, so please be sure to download it as well. Now, as we are approaching the end of my video, I just wanted to thank Zaros for multiple reasons. Now, of course, number one is that he made such a wonderful map. He has put over 1,000 hours into Pavlov now, the vast majority of which seem to be modern. And with all the updates he puts into Kill Show, it's no wonder. Next is for his cooperation in this video. While making this video, I have been pestering him with tons of questions, as well as asking for drone footage and screenshots, all of which he provided happily. Finally, I wanted to thank him for supporting the channel. If you took a look around the border of the map, there are fake advertisements, and you will see that one of them is for me. Again, a huge thanks. There is nothing better than being featured in my favorite map. And yeah, I'm super thrilled about it. That's it for the video. If you wanted to support the channel, then all you have to do is interact with the video. Subscribe, like, and if you're up to it, start or engage in a conversation in the comment section. Again, I want this video to do well so that more people can learn about Kill Show, and just how awesome it is. Now of course I am putting a link to the Kill Show Steam Workshop page, as well as for Kill Show Dark, in the video description, so please go download it now. Other than that, I hope to see you in a future video. Who knows, maybe I'll reviewing the sus game Among Us VR.